Oops. Anytime you're feeling it.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody on Rumble and YouTube.
All right.
Ready when you are, David.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. And welcome. It is Perilous World Radio. Jan Masters joining me, David Masters, today. And for those of you who are just joining us, Jan is my sister-in-law. And we always have a really good time together when we talk about the things of our life.
Yep.
Jan, welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So over the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, the crazy has exploded.
Wow.
It seems to be getting worse every day as the dark side doubles down on the devil's agenda. Any thoughts on what's going on?
Well, yes. I see so many breakthroughs. My mind is blown. I see what has happened in Venezuela and the people celebrating. And just this morning, did you see what Trump posted about Iran?
I haven't seen that.
Well, let me read it to you. Okay. Let's see if I can get that real quick.
So I do know that he is considering his options on helping the people who are trying to throw off the yoke of the mullahs.
So here's what his note was today. Iranian patriots, all caps, keep protesting. Take over your institutions. Save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. MIGA, President Donald J. Trump. He has basically blasted out a message. He's coming to help them, David. And
cavalry is on its way.
I'm telling you, and somebody posted today, an Iranian freedom fighter with Trump's message up, and he was talking about it and just saying, I'm almost afraid to believe this is going to happen because we've waited so long. And he got very emotional thinking, this could be it for the Iranian people. And he said, this is going to make the world a better place. You're not only going to take out a terrible dictator, you're going to gain friends, people that will stand by you. And when he says, is it really going to happen? I look at Trump's record. I look at what he already did in Iran and Venezuela. And you can bet your bottom dollar Trump does what he says he's going to do. And a lot of people, David, are troubled, scratching their heads. What is Trump doing all around the world? This is not America first, right? But it is. And I'm amazed at what I'm seeing. And I see what's happening is like a cure to cancer spreading around the world right now. He is spreading freedom. He's got the military to do it and the will and the blessing on him to do it. And it's happening. And I'm just sitting here watching the dominoes fall. And somebody said, well, I don't know if this is good or bad, but it sure is interesting. And I thought, well, who wins in these things Trump is doing? Who loses? And what's the cost? Very little cost. Very little cost. No cost at all so far to our guys. Yes, some of the enemy is dying, but the strikes are so surgical. And what did he do? Who wins? The Venezuelan people the Iranian people, the West, freedom. So we are watching historic things happen in front of our eyes right now, David.
And here's another important point.
Yes.
That rather than us going into a war to test our new weaponry, we're going into incursions that don't involve a war.
Exactly.
And it was reported recently, I think within the last day or two on Fox News, that the United States military used these sonic weapons
I saw
in
that.
Venezuela.
I saw that.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there was a report by one person that was in the environment where this Venezuelan takedown took place, and he reported the what it felt like to be hit by these weapons.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing what. And again, Peter Ducey, who was the one who did the reporting on these,
I saw
sonic
Peter
weapons,
Ducey's report. Yes, where he actually
this was
felt
in
it.
2014.
Yes.
2014. So this is years in the making,
Right.
and refinement and the development. So, yeah, the United States, you know, the expression "fool around and find out," which is not
Right.
the right word. This is
Right.
what this is happening, and these people are really not. They're not taking Trump seriously at their own
Peril.
at their own risk. Yeah, their own peril, for sure.
Absolutely. And you have to think that Russia and China are scrambling right now because, you know, they had their fingers spreading into the West, into Venezuela and these countries because they were trying to encroach upon us. And Trump is pushing it all back. He's pushing the globalist agenda back decades, in my opinion. So it's absolutely amazing to watch. Yes, the enemy and the left are screaming out and doing crazy, but they're losing. They're losing the battle big time.
Yes, and there's so much more to this bigger picture. But yes, it's an absolute societal reset. It's like turning off the PC, just booting it off. And this is a reset altogether. All the programs that are out there are being shut down. And here's the other thing about the other super nations, China and Russia. First of all, Russia is more diminished at this point than any time in, I don't know, modern history for this insane war. And I think I'm beginning to understand why this protracted war is actually to our benefit, because now we can really start to deal with Russia from a position of strength and authority. But in China, all they have is raw power. They can throw away literally hundreds of millions of troops. But at the same time, what we've demonstrated is that they have no idea what they're up against. That's what we've demonstrated.
Right.
That is it worth it for them to throw away 100 million people, you know, in one fell swoop? Maybe it is to them because they got too many people, but their economy is faltering. I mean, Trump is the master. He's absolutely the master of the destiny of the world right now. It's so amazing.
Well, he is, in my opinion, the tool of the master, for sure. For sure.
Amen.
Because you can't do all the things he's doing without some kind of divine hand guiding you, protecting you. This is God's will right now, in my opinion, is to push back the enemy that has been encroaching upon all of us in this world for decades in this country. And it's creating this window of time for the truth to be available again, to be, you know, it's just been the lie over and over and over. And the truth is going to have its day. And that's what I see happening. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Well, I have said for years that God will not be mocked. And God is really in charge. But he waits.
Absolutely.
You know, God knows the truth, but waits. And he's waited for enough people to call for him, I think, is
I agree.
really what it in the Bible. It says, if my people will repent.
Yes.
And I think that there's a certain movement toward that. Now, the others, God help them, but they're not really interested in God's help. If they were, they wouldn't be out there rioting and attacking ICE agents, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't be supporting evil. So we got about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick
Well,
break here
okay.
because go ahead if
Well, I was
you
going
want
to
to say
say
something very
really quick. In America, you have the left fighting for all of the things that the people in Iran are fighting against.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed it is. All right, quick break. FHU.com is where you find out more about the be still and no exercise. Luck, there is no such thing, always favors the prepared. And we'll be right back. Okay. And in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. Continuing. Yeah, when we're looking at the news, let's step back a couple of steps and just see that perhaps all of these things have to come about in order for the most meaningful change to occur in centuries, maybe in a millennia, maybe in 1,000 years, to happen across the world as a domino effect of what I'm just going to call it righteous power. Not unholy power, but the holy power. And here's the other thing I want to make a point of. Trump has surrounded himself with the right kind of people this time. He didn't have the right people with him before. He had Dr. Fauci and Nurse Cratchit and all of these people that kind of misguided him.
He didn't know the enemies, how deep it went. But he learned. Not that there won't be others to betray him, but he's got quite a team around him right now. I love watching Rubio. He and Rubio are just quite a team. But you're talking.
Well, they're all good.
Yeah,
they're all good.
They are. They are.
Now, the strange thing for me is the enigma of Dan Bongino stepping down. Don't understand that at all. And I suppose that will all come out. But, if it isn't a good fit for him, that's fine.
Yeah.
Somebody
He's still
else
a patriot, and for whatever reason, it didn't work for him personally. Yeah. So that's fine. But you're talking about taking a few steps back. What do all of these conflicts around the world mean in the broader scheme of things? Good versus evil. Since the beginning of time, it happens. So it's not just about the countries or the nations, although they play a part. It all fits into what is God's plan. He's trying to bring his sons and daughters back to him. And how whatever serves that purpose, that will unfold. So you take the people of Iran who have been under this tyranny for, I'm not sure how long, but it's
50 years.
Is it 50
years about?
That is a long time. But what fruit does it produce, David? It produces a faith like you've never seen. These people are out there protesting, David. They're shooting into the crowds. They're not stopping. They're willing to stand up. And the Christian community there is huge. So the harvest for God is plenty when suffering happens. And that brings to mind, as you probably know, Scott Adams passed away today. I
did hear that.
I think was only 68 or something like that, and of prostate cancer. And he converted to Christianity right before he died. He said, many friends have brought me the message, and I appreciated them. And his last thing was, I look forward to spending time with Jesus. I thought that was really sweet to put that out. So
Yeah.
All of us, when we face death, the reality of, is this it or is there more? I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road right there.
Well, we are, as human beings, stuck between two diametrically opposite dimensions, to put it that way. Two realms, the realm of light and the realm of shadow. And the question people have to ask themselves is, which one do I live in most of the time? And, you know, if we're honest, the answer will come back, well, I suppose I could live more of my life in the light. And then, but that creates a dilemma, because you have to have a commitment to letting go of the shadow part of the world to be in the light. And, you know, you can't, yes, you can, there's a line of demarcation, you know, as the earth turns, and there's a point of time at which we have the dusk and the dawn. But man, get into the light. Make that choice, you know, move away from being in that line of demarcation where it's never fully day. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's where you put your attention. Don't be discouraged at where you are. Just put your eyes on the light. Move toward the light every day, the light and the truth. And to me, it's really the direction that you're going. And when you pass from this earth, you will continue to go in that direction toward the light.
Well, and Jesus put it this way: know the truth and it shall make you free. Well, all day long, every day, we have the opportunity to look at the world, and actually, each time we see something that is not, you know, all that is not of faith is sin. Everything that is not of faith gives us the opportunity to choose it. When we look at what it is that's in opposition to faith in the higher plan, we have the opportunity to say, I want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it could be on so many different levels. It could be the food we eat, the friends we have, the things that we do and don't do in our lives. We have so many opportunities to choose toward the better plan. That's all I can say. And that's really what it boils down to, Jan.
True. Very true. That's the journey we're on.
Yeah, it is indeed. Now, today I've got some great audio from Roy Masters, and I had spent the entire morning cutting up an hour show that he did on psychopolitics, but he really lays out a scenario, and it sounds, I don't know how many years or decades ago that it was. I think this was probably within the last 30 to 40 years that he did this show, but it is clear that there has been a plan in place for probably 100 years to destroy this country, maybe longer. But, you know, since the beginning of our modern era, there's been a plan, and it's from the communist dark side, where where our billions of enemies exist. But they're all human beings. They're not necessarily the enemy. They're just mind controlled. And so I've got some great audio of that today.
Okay.
And for people who are struggling with understanding how to step away from the shadow and into the light, Be Still and Know is the exercise that actually, it's an inoculation and a rejuvenation at the same time, to get quiet and to receive God's will willingly and by choice. FHU.com is where you find out more, and we'll take a quick break and be right back. I'm going to come in with a clip, okay?
Okay.
And so I'll set up what this clip is about. All right, here it goes. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. Now I'm going to play a clip of Roy Masters. This is a program for and from the Hypnotic States of Americans series. And it goes into, but not much, the psychopolitics that have been used against the American people. Many people think of it as a giant psyop, what we're dealing with. And some people say it's on both sides. I don't agree with that. I think the one side, the dark side, is the psyop, and the other side is both defending itself against the psychological operation and at the same time countering with a new spiritual, a spy op. Ooh, I like that. A spiritual operation, right? So in this clip that I'm going to play from Roy, this is K3616. It goes back many, many years on confusion and I can't read the rest of it, but it's about confusion. And here comes this clip. Now he's talking to a lady who had called in to kind of give him props and tell him to keep going. Here it comes.
You can't do it. You have to have passion, but that passion can't be emotional. You see, I have passion. I have passion. When I speak with strength and conviction, yes, but there is no emotion. Mm-hmm. I don't use my emotion to convert people. Yeah, people react emotionally to me, but that's their disadvantage. If I'm an emotional person and arouse excitement, say I want to arouse political excitement to get you out to go to vote, that would be very unhealthy, because if you arouse people emotionally, you could make them do anything.
Yes, you're right.
No, the whole idea is to have passion, a compassionate passion that is nothing to do with emotion at all. Not the kind of emotion that's easily aroused because it's purposely aroused to manipulate you.
Right. And
so I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm appealing to the hearts and minds of people, calmly.
Okay. Yeah, and if you think about it, we've been watching season 3, or actually season 4 of The Chosen.
That was good.
And the way, it was so good.
Very good.
We just started on season 5, but the way that Jesus was always in communication with people was not through the religious excitement side of things, but through a deep and powerful calm.
Right.
And if you watch our Imperious Trump, the wonderful Imperious Trump, he pretty much stays in his center, no matter what he's accused of, no matter what they say about him, he stays centered. Now, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is a very interesting thing about Trump. I really believe that is God infused, because David, what he has been through since 2016, since the day he stepped off the escalator, it has been a constant barrage. The enemy has come after him like nothing I've ever seen. And I don't think I've ever seen him flustered. I don't think I've ever seen him anything but just convicted in the direction he's going. I mean, if we were to sit here and name off all of the attacks that have come against him, including being shot and almost killed, we forget how many things he has gone through. When they raided Mar-a-Lago and tried to impeach him, and the Russia collusion, and time after time after time.
All of the bimbos that accused him.
All of the accusations that just one of those usually takes out a political opponent like that. Done. They're done. So he has been blessed to do, there's no doubt in my mind, as flawed as he is, and yes, he says things that offend people sometimes that is a little, okay, that wasn't, great. But take the whole picture. Take away your reaction to some of his words, and look at what he has accomplished and what he is accomplishing even today in our world. America first sounds very selfish, but look what he's doing for these other countries. It's really humanity first, freedom first. And he is accomplishing what no other president, I don't see an end to this spread of freedom right now. So,
well, let's examine this. Let's deconstruct the idea of America first. Look, America first is family first, because
yes,
if you're going to throw your kids in the volcano, well, you can't defend anybody else from being thrown into the volcano. You've got to defend your family first. America is Trump's family.
right.
And because he's willing to sacrifice his life, and he knows he's got a target on him, he's got a laser target on him.
Yeah.
But because he's willing to defend his family with his life, he's willing to defend everybody with his life.
That's right.
And that's what he's doing. He's putting life ahead of evil.
And what is
and that's
America,
the Democrat.
David?
Yeah.
America was always supposed to be the city, the shining light upon the hill of a beacon of freedom in the world. And America had been infiltrated for decades. We weren't that. We thought we were, but we had been infiltrated. Now we have a true freedom fighter in the White House, not just another patsy of the globalists. And so what is America? America stands for freedom. It acknowledges that our freedoms come from the Creator. That's what America, the foundation of America. So likely you would help to spread that around the world. And, he's doing it in such a way that is so different from anything we've ever seen. We're used to seeing America go in like Vietnam and just be there for years and years and lose all kinds of our countrymen. It's not that way right now. So when you have somebody at the helm that really has goodwill toward human beings, it's a totally different scenario. And a lot of people, they want to hate Trump and they want to say, he said no more wars. These aren't wars. These are not wars. So people, they're not quite sure what to do with it, because how can you complain about helping these other people?
Yeah, let me give you a visual comparison to what's happening in America and around the world right now. Did you see the Chronicles of Narnia? Of course you have.
Yes.
You remember how the goblins and the demons and the witch, the white witch, how they were always agitated by the presence of the humans in their little world. This is the Chronicles of Narnia playing out in real time. Because if you see the people out opposing the ice agents, and you see them, trying to burn down the cities, and you see the craziness, these people literally, and not figuratively, but literally, are already in hell being tormented by one of God's own.
Well,
and by many of God's own, because the people that support what's right are they're like a sonic weapon to those people who are against what's right. I'm just saying, they're in hell already. Now, and I was thinking about Obama and, Clinton and all these people who are on the dark side. These people are already in hell. They may have luxurious lifestyles, but at the same time, Obama's got problems with Michelle, who people say is a man. I don't know. All these people have problems. Tim Walz has problems. Now they're going to indict him. All the
gone.
dark side people, they're already being tormented by the truth.
Well, all these crowds you're talking about, they're exactly what your dad was talking about. They are being emotionally manipulated. Like the lady who her car tried to run over the ICE agent. These two women, they were obviously emotionally
On that note,
moved. Yeah.
I've got a clip of that.
Okay.
I'm going to play it for you
Let's
now.
do it.
Here it comes.
An ICE officer just killed a civilian. But was she innocent? Many are saying yes, based on this clip.
No! No! Oh my
looks like cold-blooded murder, right? Now, before you react, ask yourself, is there something I'm not seeing? Because there's another angle. One mainstream media isn't showing you. Watch. Here it is one more time. Look closely. Her car makes contact with the officer. You can see him jolt backwards. And here's a picture showing a bullet through the front windshield, consistent with the vehicle accelerating forward into the agent's path. Now, let's walk through the facts. Is this woman's death a tragedy? Of course. She's a human being. Are you allowed to interfere with law enforcement and then accelerate away when they confront you? No. Did her car make contact with an officer as she accelerated away? The video appears to show, yeah. Did she intend to hit him? We don't know.
Yeah. But the point is, this is all emotion driven. That's the bottom line.
Totally.
And that emotion is dark side emotion. It's not a moment where you see a baby being born and you cry and you feel emotions that are from above. These people are embedded and they are rooted in the dark side of the equation. That's my point.
They don't understand how they're being manipulated through emotion. Have you ever seen when these reporters go out to some of these protests by the left and they ask them, why are you holding that sign? What does it mean?
I don't know.
They don't know. They just know they're angry and they hate Trump or they hate this or that. It's pure, raw emotion.
5 seconds. Quick break, and we will continue on the other side, FHU.com. Okay. I got 2 more of this guy talking about this. And I got 5 more of Roy.
Okay.
So I'm going to come back with the Roy clip, okay?
All right.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
I'm strong. I'm to the point. I'm full of conviction, but there's no emotion, no intent to rouse an emotion. If you get angry with me, that's not the intent. But I can take advantage of that anger to get inside you. And I can sow a seed of good in you and make you run around like a dog with a tick in its ear, but there's no intent to awaken an emotion. The emotion that a person might hear who is my adversary would be because he's hearing the truth for the first time and he hates it. So if he hates it, that's good for me because I am free to speak my mind and present my existence to them, and they don't think there's any other truth than what they believe, and suddenly there's a truth with more conviction, not quite emotional, but very strong, more conviction than they have, and it upsets them. I get inside that person, and whatever it is in me runs around in them, and they cannot get rid of it. They either get to become a better person or a worse one. It don't matter to me.
That's the whole idea of people living, Trump living rent-free in people's heads.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's the foundation of your conviction? Emotion or truth? And that is what your dad is talking about. When your conviction is based on truth, it's stronger than one just based on emotion. And that is, you're right, that is what Trump has done, knowingly or unknowingly, is just stand for the truth. I call Trump the rude awakening America needed. Because he was rude in ways, but we needed a rude awakening, didn't we? And
love that.
That's what we got. And a lot of people are waking up, and it's amazing to watch.
Have you ever seen a scene in a movie where a person's asleep and somebody's trying to wake them up, and then it's like they resist being awakened? So much so that, it's like, like, go away, go. And then when they wake up, then they're angry. It's like, why'd you wake me up? This is exactly what we're talking about right now.
Right.
This idea of a rude awakening. I mean, that really is what it boils down to, because
it is.
a person who wants to be comfortable in their sleep and especially when it comes toward the truth. They're asleep about not wanting to wake up and see the truth. They need the force of emotion to help them fight the truth. And then they become addicted to people who stimulate that force of emotion inside of them. And that addiction leads to other kinds of addictions, and it leads to other errant thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Emotion. People think that their emotions give them power. But when it comes up against truth, it can't stand. It can't stand. So that's why people with emotional arguments, when they meet a person that's just standing on truth, then they have to resort to just not dealing with any raw emotion,
just denial,
calling you names and stuff like that. Which that's what confused me about Trump, was the name calling, because that's usually what the left would do, is like when you don't have an argument, you just call names. So when Trump did that back in the beginning, I was thinking, wait, what is he doing? We don't call names, but for some reason it worked for him. He used back on them what they do.
O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell is addicted to hating Trump.
Right.
And guess what? Right. If you're addicted to hating something that is not necessarily bad and maybe even good for you, as what my dad was saying, if they hate me for what I say, that's good for me because I still get to express myself into them. Rosie O'Donnell is becoming more of a Trump person every day without knowing it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, and the other thing I want to say about Trump's little name calling is that is a sonic weapon.
Mm.
Because once you become offended by it,
right.
you either, I think it was Epictetus who said, if you really knew who I am, if you really knew my real weaknesses and foibles, you would have mentioned those instead of the other ones, which were not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a humble person would say, you know what, you're right. I'm a complete idiot. I'm a fool. Thanks for pointing it out to me.
Right.
But a prideful SOB or a BOB, they don't. They fight it, and when the emotion, they wear themselves out, they burn out, and I think eventually there's a potential for them to get converted to being reasonable.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
Well, we will continue watching it all unfold, right?
Well, it is an ever unfolding process, and the reset, the great reset. It's not the one that the world, whatever it is, the world. What do they call the WEF, the Economic Forum?
Yes.
Klaus Schwab, it's not the one they were hoping for. It's the exact opposite. It's the opposite reset.
It's wonderful.
So beautiful.
Sweet victory.
Yeah, sweet victory. And the idea is, and I want to go back to this, is that if you are doing the right thing, Albert Einstein said, great spirits have often faced violent opposition from mediocre minds. This is the way that the world is going to react to a great spirit, because they are just, like the people that are holding signs out there and you ask them why they're there. They say, I don't know. I'm not sure. Those are just useful idiots. They're the potential for those people, and many of them, is to convert back to reason at some point. When their insanity has failed and there's a awakening within them that says, what are you doing here? I mean, I had that experience when I was 23 years old. I was at a party, and I couldn't stand the noise. So I went out in the backyard and I watched from the outside. And then this realization dawned on me. What are you doing here? This is not your tribe.
Right.
You don't belong here. This is what's going to happen. We got to take a quick break. End of hour 1, hour 2 coming up, FHU.com. We'll be right back. Okay. Good hour.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. And welcome back. It is Perilous World Radio. Jan Masters joining me, David Masters, today. Good conversation about the things of the day, the events of the day. Sadly, Scott Adams, the cartoonist, of, I think it was Dilbert, right?
Yep.
He passed away in the last moments of his life. According to sources, he accepted Jesus as his Lord and Savior. That's a wonderful thing. I would say, though, to people, don't wait. Do it now.
Right.
Do it now. Spend the rest of your life recommitting to that idea. Yeah, you may suffer a bit for it, but you're going to suffer a lot if you don't. That's all I can tell you.
And how nice that he used the last moments of his life to actually preach the gospel in his own way. He used his platform, went out with a nice little, went out with a bang, in as they say, for Christ. It's a great thing. So it can happen even at the very end.
Yeah. Yep. And again, don't wait. Just
wait.
Make sure that you understand life is very transitory. My beloved sister passed away a couple weeks ago. It haunts me to this very moment.
So young.
It was so unexpected.
Gosh,
so unexpected. No one would have ever expected this to happen to Diane. It's hard to even it's hard to put
hard
in
to wrap
context.
your mind around it. Yeah, it's true.
And then it makes us all look at our own the temporary nature of our own existence.
Absolutely.
Whenever somebody passes, somebody that we loved or cared for or respected or looked up to, or it is a reminder.
Yep.
And I've got another clip of Roy Masters. I don't know, but in one of the clips, and it could be in a different portion of this, but he talks about religion. He says, we do need reminders. We do. This is the beauty of good religion, is that let's say we go to church, or we listen to a broadcast, and they talk about things that we need to be reminded of, because the world is chipping away at us, trying to remake us in its image.
Yes, yes.
So let me play another clip here of K3616, available at FHU.com on the premium side of our website. Here it comes.
Now you have to learn the same thing. You have to be so convinced, so perfectly gentle, so perfectly clear in what you say, that you disturb everybody around you or gladden the hearts of people who are welcome to hear it. The people who are mean-spirited, their only defense is anger towards you, except you don't reciprocate. You don't get angry back.
Right.
And that's how you get to them. And that's how you become better. If they get better, good for them. If they get worse, well, they can't hurt you. You tried.
Right.
See, so you have the perfect defense. But with the state of mind you're in, you won't get anywhere. I hear you.
Okay.
You got the wrong idea about what I'm telling you. Okay? Nice talking to you. I just gave you the solution to the problem, didn't I? I just told you what the problem was and the solution. Can you deal with mean-spirited people who may not be mean-spirited all the way through, just conditioned, programmed? They become like what they've hated. The nature of the hate object in their life that's terrorized and demoralized them. I don't care whether it's parents or school teachers or bullies. I don't care what it is. They are doing unto others. They cannot help but do unto others what was done unto them.
Oh boy, man, that's a mouthful. Now this lady called in. She was all rah, sis boom ba, let's go get him, Roy. He says, no, you're too emotional. He says, and I've been trying to wake people up my whole life. And if I can't do it, I'm sorry to tell you, but you may not be able to. You probably can't, because I've been trying and they don't want to listen to me. And he tells her, you have to not be so emotional. You got to speak your truth. You got to keep speaking your truth, just like Matthias Desmond said, never stop speaking up against the mass formation, but do it calmly. Stay calm, because it breaks eventually it breaks the mass formation. We're at that point. We're at that breaking point where the mass formation is unraveling.
It is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But, we can't even just follow your dad's directions, David, without tapping into our identity from God. If we just try to do it like following directions, okay, I'm not going to be emotional. I'm not going to do this. Even that won't work because it's of yourself, of that same self that's emotional, right? You must be born of the Spirit to be able to do the things that your Father is talking about. This strength comes only from the Spirit. And even Jesus said, you must be born of the Spirit. And that's the mystery. How do you do that? You must seek the redemption. You must admit your sins and receive the redemption. You know, if you love God the Father, then why wouldn't you love the one that he sent to this earth that illustrated the character of God?
Let me address that, because we're first of flesh and second of spirit. Now, I look at people who are emotional. There are two sides of that coin, because sometimes being emotional means that you have the right idea, but you're approaching it from the wrong perspective. But still, being emotional is better about what's good and right than being emotional about what's bad and wrong. And there's a point in time at which, like with me, sitting out in the backyard of the party, I sat there because I liked going to the party when I was young. There was an energy in it. There was distraction, and there was things you could get involved with, but that was the flesh side of life. And I will never forget that there was two guys that came out, two of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
They came out into the backyard. They saw me sitting out there. They said, "What are you doing out here? You know, you need to be back in the party, spinning the records." And I think, nah, that's not for me. And I remember they tried to recruit me back. See, there's going to be a time at which people are going to try to pull you back in.
Always.
And I just said, you know what? I am going to sit here and just watch. And it's weird because at that point, I think I was about 23. That's when I actually decided I'm done. But I had to wait until I was ready. And I think that this is what the point is that a false conversion is like a false confession.
Yes. It has to be real.
Just give into the pressure. Yeah, you don't give into the pressure. You don't just say yes because it's convenient. You don't say yes because you want to be a part of the herd. You say yes from a conviction deep inside, from a God. And I said this the other day. I said, you know, consciousness itself is non-local. It exists outside of our brain. And you know what the scripture says? None can come to the Father unless they be called, unless they be drawn. I say that conviction is delivered to you as a little package that calls to you, and that you simply receive the call. You simply pick up the phone and say yes. That's it. You get the message, but you are not absorbed in the message. It's just an offer, and you accept the offer.
That's right. And many times we don't accept the offer because we're not ready. Alan was talking about the other day how all his cows got out. He didn't have anybody to help him, to bring him in. So he's waiting for his guys to come, and I'm watching the time. And he was like, well, I'm just going to start calling them. Come on, cows. Come on home. Come on. He goes, I just kept doing it. And they just kept, why are we going to come to you? Aren't we eating this nice grass over here? So he just kept calling him. He said one lifted the head up and started coming. So then the others started just coming. They started answering to the call.
Wow.
And isn't that us? Well, we're not ready quite yet, you know, but at some point we may just finally lift our head up and start going toward the Lord.
I love that. I just love that. It's beautiful. FHU.com, and we'll be right back. I want to find my Matthias Desmet clips. I have them here somewhere.
And I think I want to respond to something in the chat when you are open.
Okay. Here it is. Here we go. All right. Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
Wait, David.
Okay.
Which one are we on?
Yeah.
Which
We're
is
on
segment 2?
segment 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, mine's not starting.
Oh.
Okay, here we
Tell
go.
me
3,
when.
2, 1.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm done. Yeah. All right, welcome back. It is Perilous World Radio. Jan Masters, David Masters. Now, I did dig out my clips from Matthias Desmet talking about mass formations. And I think this is really important because he was the one who began to identify how to deal with the mass formation. My dad was doing it years ago. He's talking about psychopolitics. And I want to play some of this audio from Matthias Desmet if you are interested in hearing it. Okay, here comes clip number 1.
In 1930, the resistance chose to stop to speaking out in the Soviet Union. In 1935, it stopped to speak out in Nazi Germany. And within a period of 6 months, the destruction campaign started. There was enough support in the population to start the destruction campaigns. So when you understand that, you understand that no matter what happens, the people who are not in the grip of the mass formation have to continue to speak out. And the important thing is, they should realize that they will not wake up the masses. That's crucial. Such scholars as Gustave Le Bon, who studied the psychology of the masses, have remarked that if a large mass emerges in a society, there is always a group who is not in the grip of it. And this group typically wants to wake up the people in the masses. They try to show them, they are baffled, and they try to show them how absurd the beliefs are that the group that live in the group. And this group tries to wake the masses up, and it doesn't succeed. This group usually won't succeed in waking up the masses. That's almost impossible. But, and that's crucial, Gustave Le Bon mentioned already in his famous work, The Psychology of the Crowd, published in 1895, he said it's not because this dissident group doesn't succeed in waking up the masses that its speech has no effect. To the contrary, its speech has a crucial effect. The speech of the dissidents constantly disturbs the mass formation, and that makes that it doesn't go so deep that the masses arrive at the final stage where they start to commit atrocities. So if you speak out in a quiet way, and if you don't really try to convince them, but just live up to your ethical duty of articulating your own opinion, then you will see that you disturb the mass formation, that it doesn't go deeper and deeper, and something crucial happens then. That's your opinion, that's mine, and you can take it or leave it, it doesn't matter, but I will time and time again articulate my own opinion. And in that way, the mass formation is constantly disturbed, and then something crucial happens.
Now this is
beautiful.
This is so beautiful.
Beautifully
and
said.
He's got it, but I've got 3 more clips of it. Little short clips, but the idea is he says keep speaking out, but not the way the others do.
Mm-hmm.
You just continue to say what you have to say. You say it calmly and confidently.
Yeah.
And that will disturb the mass formation. Now think about what they're trying to do just when law enforcement, and this is how crazy the Democrats have become. They become completely unhinged. Totally, they're supporting the criminal class of people in our country. They've gone all the way. Now they're willing, and oh my gosh. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, we were
Your
heading
thoughts.
there, David. We were heading there just a few years ago when they were stopping us from being able to say what we want on Twitter, on Facebook, the squelching of the voice of the people. They almost had us, David.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
heading exactly where this man was talking about, where first they stop the speech, then they start the destruction campaigns. And this is what somehow, David, it's been averted. You had Elon Musk come out and purchase Twitter. He did his part. As much as many people don't like him and don't trust him, he played his part by buying Twitter and opening up free speech and divulging all of the secrets. These were unraveling the mass formation.
I want to tell you that the other night on Gutfeld, he said, can you imagine what it would have been like had Elon Musk not bought Twitter?
Oh, I recognized
He
it,
said that-
David. When he did it, I was like, whoa, this is huge. This is a huge win for speech. Now, we've talked about on this show before how when you speak the truth to people, you don't need to expect instant receiving of your words. We're planting seeds. That's what we do. We plant seeds of truth, and they grow. So he is talking about definitely just a principle of speaking the truth. And it reminds me, I've been reading in Luke and these different things that happened between Jesus and the Pharisees. Jesus simply walked the earth, speaking the truth, speaking the message the Father had for him. And then he starts to heal people on the Sabbath. And the Pharisees stand there like, you're breaking the law. And he says, don't you, if your donkey falls in a ditch on the Sabbath, would you not pull it out? And yet you don't want me to heal a woman who's been ill for 15 years? And they're speechless because all he did was do the Father's will. And so this what somebody on the chat, Dakota Johnny, okay? Hello, Dakota Johnny. He has a problem with these things that Trump is doing. And he says, George Washington's farewell address, do not get involved in foreign entanglements. So then he says, no business in Venezuela or Iran. No power in the Constitution for a president to bomb countries. Okay? So here's what I say, is that Trump knows the ultimate end if he was to not deal with what's in front of us. There already is a war against America that's encroaching on our shores. He has looked at the ultimate end to these things, and if he doesn't put a stop to it, it is the end of America. So in essence, there is a war that's been encroaching on our shores, and he's pushing it back. He's ahead.
And they are the ones that brought it. So for us not to respond appropriately would be enabling our own, as the last presidents have done.
That's right.
The
That's
evil
right.
presidents, the dark side presidents, they've enabled it. Obama gave the Iranians billions of dollars.
Yes. So you could take George Washington's words so literally that you would not take the steps necessary to literally
Pharisee
save
stuff.
the country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Pharisee perspective. It's like letter of the law. It's an excuse not to be a great human being, not to do the right thing. Okay, quick break, and we will be right back. FHU.com. Be still and knows the exercise. Find out more. FHU.com. Okay. I'm going to come back with another Roy Masters
Okay.
clip. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Ex-victim. They're programmed to create victims. That's how you have Rwandas. That's how you have Pol Pot with his murdering gang of strangling murderers, executioners. That's how you have those things. Hitler Germany's. You do unto others gradually exponential order of things, a growing number of people growing exponentially, like 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, etc. It grows very quickly. It grows like bacteria. They double every few minutes and exponentially like that. In an hour, you have billions, the rate of reproduction. With a population, you can actually have a dictatorship in, a space of 5 or 6 years. If you have hate in your heart, you've got to express that hate. You can't express it towards those who dominate you because they've already diminished you below them. And you can't stand up to them. Besides, you became like what you hated, and you are under a compulsion to do unto others what was done to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. If you have hate in your heart, you have to express it. That's what is in these people who are standing up for the dark side. They have hate in their heart for those who oppose the dark side. Let me play a clip of the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Smallfry.
Okay. And
what's important about this is that, I don't know if you remember back, but both Jacob Fry and Jen Psaki said prayers are not enough. Now, he doesn't say this here, but listen to what he has to say. He's a weasel par deluxe.
Those families are suffering immense pain right now. Think of this as if it were your own. Every one of us needs to be wrapping our arms around these families, giving them every ounce that we can muster. These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
Weasel words from a weasel. Now, this was when a trans shooter went into a church. This was, I don't know, maybe in the last 6 months or year.
Yeah.
A trans shooter went in and shot a bunch of children in a church school. And this is the thing he said, prayers are not enough. Prayers are not enough.
I'm not sure what, I'm confused. Wasn't he speaking on behalf of the children that were shot and saying they're suffering? And so I'm not really sure what, I'm a little confused what his message was.
The idea is, and by the way, people like him are the problem. This is a main point that has to be revealed. Just like in Minneapolis right now, he's telling the ICE agents to get the you-know-what out of Minneapolis. He's saying, get out of our town. But the ICE agents are there to round up the bad guys. He basically then said about the trans shooter who killed these children, prayers are not enough. They were praying. He's basically mocking God.
Yeah, that was a confusing message. I don't really understand what his point was.
His point was that he was mocking God by saying prayers are not enough. That's what he was doing. These people mock God every chance they get. But
on the other hand, he was saying they should be able to go to church without being in danger or something, right? I don't know. I'm sorry. That's right.
But he's the problem.
Yeah.
He's the one who tells the police to stand down and not help the ICE agents. He's the
Right.
one who is enabling the Somalis to steal billions of dollars. He's the one. He is a nexus of weakness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here he is, because he himself wants sympathy. Well, look, I'm a victim here too. See, anybody that identifies as a victim, when they fail to do the right thing and bad things happen, and they say, well, we are victims too.
Mm-hmm.
They are the biggest part of the problem, because he could have had a stronger police presence. He could have been calling ICE agents over to Minneapolis. Him and Tim Walz, governor, could have said, let's stop all of the corruption that's going on in the state of Minnesota. No, they didn't do that. They didn't.
Well, it's all coming out. It's all coming
It is
out.
all coming out.
The dominoes are falling left and right.
Yeah. I got another Roy Masters here. Here it comes.
You can stop this tide by learning not to forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Do you get it? Forgive them means to forgive. To be prepared to take the stripes, knowing they can't help themselves, and don't take it personally. You're dealing with a naughty little kid, basically. I don't care how old they are. A naughty little angry kid who's not satisfied, and they make you miserable. More miserable than them, and that makes them happy. Gives them a rush. Now, see how simple that is. Now, if you get it, then you got 2 children, 3 children, then you take it out on them. They will conform. They will rebel. You got problems. That's all there is to it. The name of the game is to intimidate. That's what terrorism is all about. That's what liberalism is all about. I'm sorry, but that's all what some forms of religion is all about. Religion and politics are exactly the same in the conversion process. Religion should not be involved in mass conversion.
Well, you see, the conversion is the problem, and it's like the trans movement. It's a conversion issue. And, all that it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. Well, what do you want? A dead daughter or a living son? This is the way that they do things. This is the way that they create conversion through emotion. And that's what he's saying. And we talked about this a little bit, Jen, the idea that you shouldn't be forced or programmed into converting to anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The enemy has its preachers, its, evangelists. Each side has its coaxing, and, Jesus said, he sent them out. He sent his apostles out to preach the truth and the word and the truth about him. And those who the Father calls will heed the call. It's as simple as that. And the enemy's out there doing everything it can to block you from receiving that message and to confuse you, keep you emotionally upset. But whatever God has, that spark that God has placed inside each one of us, it will be victorious if you just heed that call. So yes, there's a fight for our souls, and it's supposed to be that way.
Trying to find the name of this trans shooter. I know the first name was Robin. I'm trying to find it here.
Somebody on the chat says the Minneapolis shooter wrote, "Burn Israel and Israel must fall," on his rifle.
Yeah, somebody will give me that name.
The whole state of Minnesota is fraudulent. Yes, there are many. America has been infiltrated on so many levels.
Yeah, even ChatGPT is providing me that name. Isn't that weird?
Interesting.
Speaking of shooters, let's play this next clip about the shooting of the crazy protester in Minneapolis from a person who's explaining what happened. Here it comes.
Okay.
But let's be charitable and assume no. If your car contacts an officer while you're fleeing, can that officer use deadly force? Yeah. Can the officer know your intent in that split second? No.
Right.
He's not watching a slowed down clip on social media. He's reacting in real time to a car that just hit him. If you flee law enforcement and your car makes contact with an officer, you are putting your life at risk. And sadly, she rolled the dice and died. Now, this might surprise you, but this operation wasn't triggered by mass deportations. It was triggered by fraud. Yes, it involved deportations, but it was also about billions of dollars allegedly stolen from programs to help children and families. It was legal enforcement for illegal fraud. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what they were there for. If you don't like what law enforcement is doing, you have options. Protest, vote, sue, run for office, change the law. But when you decide to take the law into your own hands, when you block officers and then speed off in a 2-ton vehicle while they're standing right next to it, you're not creating change. You're creating chaos. And chaos has consequences. Clarity takes work.
Chaos has consequences. Now, and unfortunately, we're talking about, this person on the chat who said we're not supposed to get involved with entangled in other conflicts. But look at how many we have in our own country right now. The very conflicts that we have in our country are nothing more than an extension of conflicts that we had as a result of not standing up for this country against other forces of evil. That's what we have.
Yeah.
We have those people those are tentacles of the octopus of conflict.
Your dad always used to talk about, watching what you're doing. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, bad consequences can come about.
5 seconds.
And that's what happened with this woman.
Indeed. FHU.com. Find out more, and we will be right back. Okay, I'm going to come back with one more Roy. And 3, 2, 1.
You should not be imposing your religion on your children. All you're doing is creating converts and perverts. God wants volunteers. You have to live in such a way that they're glad, they love what they see in you, not upset by the phony, cruel representation or misrepresentation of what God is. And not just respond to the cloth, or your dress, your uniform, your ministerial sacraments and rituals and songs. It's all bullcucky. The whole lot. Bull, you don't need it. Can you imagine Jesus walking around in priest clothes and tassels and lighting candles and singing songs? No, he talked quietly to everybody. And they listened, spellbound. It's a God spell rather than a hell spell.
Yes, here we go.
And yet he was brought up Jewish. He knew the scriptures. Excuse me. He spoke in the temple and read what he was allotted to read. He walked in it, but he fulfilled it all. He was the truth. He wasn't wearing the truth as a garment. He was the truth. And that is what we are supposed to do, is embody the truth. If you're going to teach your kids about God and Christ,
lead by example.
You must lead by example. And, the scripture does say, teach your children about God, because otherwise all they're going to get is what the world gives. So we are to teach in word and deed, but not be hypocrites about it.
He says that we need reminders. But, you know, to me, the most appalling of all Christians are the law of attraction types that have the organ music playing in the background, all the heightened, woo, you know, those people are, and God wants you to have everything you ever wanted. No,
Right, no.
God wants you to be obedient. And I want to make a point here.
Yeah, I agree.
On August 27th, I want you to think how recently this was. On August 27th, 2005, a gunman opened fire through the windows of Annunciation Catholic Church and School in Minneapolis during a morning mass. That person's name was Robin Westman. Look how quickly we forget. We forget. 2 children, ages 8 and 10, were killed, and 17 others were injured, including many children, though most were expected to survive. That's what we're talking about. This is what Jacob Frey was talking about. Prayers are not enough. Okay, Jacob Frey, what are you going to do about it? Huh? Are you going to get
So what was
enforcement?
it just doesn't, just a weird message.
He was acting like a victim himself. That's what he was doing. I got a couple more of Matthias Desmet here talking about the mass formation. Listen to this.
All right.
The masses are always self-destructive. That means if they continue to exist, they will slowly exhaust themselves. Their power will decrease slowly. And the power of the group who doesn't go along with the masses and who continues to live up to these ethical principles of speaking out will slowly increase. And at a certain moment, the two lines cross each other, and the small group has a stronger psychological effect than the masses itself. I think that there are more people waking up these days, but at the same time, the system itself will increase the repression, I think. It will increase the repression. So it will get more difficult, I think, in the years to come. As soon as you understand that the mechanism of mass formation is identical to hypnosis, then you also understand that mass formation, in the end, boils down to a population that is in the grip of a voice. And if the only voice that speaks out is the voice of the leaders of the masses, then the masses will become more and more fanatically convinced that they have. Yes, that is the first rule of all propaganda: make sure that you're the only one who speaks out. So to have a huge aggressive potential, and hence the population accepts that this small group imposes unilaterally its social contract to the population. A totalitarian state is based on a completely different psychological mechanism. It's based on the mechanism of mass formation, of this mass hypnosis, meaning that if the resistance, when it is confronted with the emergence of a totalitarian state, chooses to speak out, it chooses to die. It will be destroyed, because the hypnosis will get deeper and deeper, and it will arrive at that ultimate stage where the masses become radically convinced that everyone who doesn't go along with him is inhumane, lacks all solidarity and citizenships, and hence deserves to be destroyed.
Okay, so what we have is the evidence of what he's saying in New York, with a Muslim communist running one of the biggest cities in the world. The mass formation is rising. And you know what? Yesterday, Liz Warren said, don't push back on the far left agenda. She wants the bigger mass formation, doesn't care what has to be sacrificed to it. But it's a big volcano that we're going to throw our country into.
Do you remember during the pandemic, the sentiments that were beginning to boil against people that didn't want to get vaccinated?
Yes.
Do you remember the ire of the people? Families were splitting up because they were painting people that didn't want to get shot as they were going to be spreading the virus. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And then people who spoke out at school boards were being labeled terrorists, right? And people were starting to, this was growing, this whole, it was happening, but thank God it has been averted.
Well, not yet. And I'll tell you why. Because there are a lot of mushy-headed people out there that will go ahead and throw in with the mass formation just for the sake of getting a little piece of that pie. Now, we are at the end of this show, unfortunately. P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528 if you want to send us a snail mail, or go to FHU.com. You can email us there, Jan@FHU.com, David@FHU.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
And again, the be still and no exercise is the antidote for the snake bite of mass formation. Jen, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Okie dokie.
All right.
So weird how Chat GPT would not give me the name of the
Interesting.
shooter. I had to try 4 different search
Wow.
phrases. Yeah. That's
The
just how
the date you gave was wrong. You
That's
said
the date that it was given.
2005, and it was 2025. That was like,
okay.
7 or 8 months ago.
I thought I said 25. Anyway.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
I could